Welcome back. This is Sunday Breakfast right here on ChannelOne TV with myself, Jude Duncan, and my colleague, Enno Safo. Just gone by, we're looking at a really deplorable and distressing state of a community in the northern region in Jobilbo, where they lack basic amenities, and the residents were telling us that they don't intend on voting this year. But now we'll shift focus on a conversation we've been having for some time now, over the past couple of months and weeks, right? Looking at conversations around building up children, parenting, and the likes, and continuing the conversation with us, a very good friend of the show. Now, one of like our favorites on the show, I'm sure. Yeah, right? Definitely. It's not overreach to say that. No, not at all. Reverend Cephas Amartey, welcome to Sunday Breakfast.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much. Good to be here.
It's always a pleasure to have you. Like I said last week, sometimes we just wait for your one-liner, your one hard-liner introductory comment before we... But I'm sure we'll come along the line.
Yeah, definitely. Before we go straight in, before that one-liner comes, let's announce our WhatsApp numbers to our listeners and viewers. 0204-447-033, 0204-447-033, so that you can be a part of this conversation. Alternatively, our social media handles are active. #Sunday Breakfast or @Inno_S or @Mensa Duncan, and we will read your questions, your comments, and your suggestions. Jude.
Reverend Cephas is the president of Liberty Time International and also the CEO of Civil Consult. Maybe later on you should tell us what you do at Civil Consult.
Okay. After the results are announced next week.
Next week, no problem. No problem. Reverend, moral structures, endurance. We started last week. You gave us some really deep insights into what it is when we talk about structures, moral structures. You also spoke on endurance. Maybe a little recap, then we take it from there.
Yeah, okay. So the point is this, that our safest place, presumably our safest bets should be the safety of our homes. And so in that environment, our strengths and weaknesses might be well nurtured and managed for us, because it's very key, so that we can evolve to be whatever God wants us to be. And so for a child that is born, what you become in so many ways is purely the effect of who shepherds and manages you. And those are the parents, So that for me is one of the issues, because you see, in a way, we are prisoners. But the painful agony of life is to be the prisoner of another person who is also a prisoner. That's painful. That I'm a prisoner. But then again, I end up being the prisoner of another person. What am I saying? You grow up in a home where your father is an addict. And chances are, if care is not taken, it will roll on you. You grow up in a home where you have a mother who is, in that social context, exceptionally morally loose. That act of her life, if she doesn't shepherd herself well, will roll on to you. So even without becoming anything at all, you're a prisoner of yourself, without even stepping out of your home. And that is why you should never be a prisoner. So the structures, is important that they are there. And therefore, that is why it's important that whoever comes together to have a child is key. Sometimes even in other areas, they look at the issues with the new baby. They look at the life of the mother, issues in the drugs and all that, and they take the child away. We don't really have that here now. But here it happens, but not in a very strong way as it does outside. So we must protect the child, because UN says that every child is a child. And you can never be wrong in protecting a child. You have to just give them the priority. So those are the things, because you see, today I'm thinking a lot about the girl child. Enno makes me think about this a lot. The girl child, you know why? Because, irreparable damage can be done to a young girl, and she did nothing to contribute to it except that she was a child. So it's so salient that structures are in place in the home. You want to be sure of who you expose your kids to, because as they grow up, many things will reflect in their future. You start dating a girl, and before they said on your marks, you've lost the relationship before you even started it because of what she brings into the relationship. Baggage, unintended baggage, problem that will come. So it's important that we understand some of these things. And in bringing up, I was very heavy about not encouraging children to lie. But one of the factors we can't diffuse is that you also have to manage a child who tells his or her first lie, because David said, I was shaping in iniquity in the Bible, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So there is a point when every child, without anybody instructing them, will say something that is opposite to what has really happened. That's because it's part of the way they are building them to protect themselves and all that. Kids sometimes will frown. A kid, a baby, barely 2 years, will punch a grown-up. Not for fun, but in anger, because they're expressing something. So just as we have to gradually learn to shape that desire to punch and to hit and to attack and all that, in the same way we should also shape their tongues to understand that, yes, you want to survive. So instinctively, you are looking for an alternative, so you lie. But it will be a bigger demise for your future. So you shift them and tilt them to the other side of the Jordan so that they understand that it can land you in jail for a long time. People are serving sentences because along the time of taking statements and answering questions, they made one line of a lie. And that one line can cost you 10 years. They need to understand the bigger picture. So these are some of the things that we need to put in place for them. And I'm very heavy about the sexual protection of a young girl. That does not excuse a boy. But they are receivers. The ladies, girls, baby girls, or girls are receivers. Men are givers. You understand? I mean, so it's important that parents understand and protect their children. One thing I couldn't touch on, and I think I'll do that now, is that we must be very, strong-minded about who we expose our kids to, boys and girls, when they're growing up. We are friends, but we know the quality and the level of our friends. So we must decide which of our friends should we expose our children to, because they will also going to have an influence in their lives. When kids are growing up, and they feel that they are failing their parents, they need to have a backup line that they can turn to. So I have a friend who I know that, I'm nice with my kids, but somehow sometimes they feel that it's a point, something is not right. And they need to have somebody beyond you, but close to you, that they can confide in. And the person can share with you, but you will never have to let them know you've heard from them. Otherwise, you're messing up the structure. So that confident thing must also be established for them. Teach them rules and regulations, and then teach them to fear human beings. You understand? Because, Charlie, they say nipa a cobra, and that is true. So teach them to have fear. Because a lot of families are where they should never be today, purely because of the kind of friends the mothers and the fathers had, or the guardians had. Purely, why? Because the father died, and all along he was always working and trusting this friend with everything, knowing that the friend has his back. You need to be careful of who you bring your kids close to. And some of them, when they die, these were the very people who played around, knowing everything around the property, and took it from the family. So you want to be very careful who you expose your children to. You must teach your daughters to be very careful about the kind of female friends they're having, even the kind of male friends they're having. You want to send your child to a friend's house, how are the parents like? What are the check lines? What are the the mark lines for the parents? What are the don't cross lines? Some parents don't have barriers. So you want
guardrails.
Just
free fall.
They let it go. And because sometimes they also, caught up with their own issues, or they have a certain level of upbringing.
Social and everything.
We are up in a way product of our background, product of where we come from.
Reverend, it's interesting you talk about this, right? And even in your introductory comments, you use the word, the effects of growing up in a morally loose environment. And it took my mind to something I just want to have your view on. So, for example, the very popular nature versus nurture debate, right? So, as to whether it's the biological effects that predisposes somebody to what they become later in life, or then their social or their environment cues they pick up, and that will be the nurture. So for somebody who grows up in a home you described as, for example, morally loose, it's very likely they take up that same experiences. So how then do you break out, right, and now begin to chart a new path for yourself?
I think the second week of our discussions, when we started, I went to a line and I said that in as much as we're talking about learning from example, you can't always do what your parents are doing. And you have to teach your children not to do what you're doing. And I remember I elucidated by saying that if at my age, at your age, like if you are driving, you can't say that because I'm bringing up my child at the age of 5, you should get behind the wheel and start turning things and start moving out of the house. So there are homes where, okay, like my parents, God bless their memory. They have their stuff. They have their, their schnapp and all that, their whiskey. My uncle, Courvoisier, the brandy of Napoleon. They have all that stuff, and I grew up around it. I don't drink. I don't drink because probably and then how your receptors. Because you see, for me, when I know a parent, an uncle, an auntie, a mom, a sister, a senior brother, or a senior cousin, I know how they are normal times. And then I know how they are when the anointing cometh. My question is whether I want to go that line. And there are homes where the parents will, when you're of age, they will encourage you to join them in the drinking and even in the smoking. There are other homes where they will tell you clearly that, look,
don't do it.
Yeah, because if I can, like Judy Bausha, if I can turn back the time,
the hand of time.
The hand of time, I will not do this. So they will give you all that, but you have to decide, what you want to do for yourself. But here's the challenge, and that's what I'm saying. The kind of environment we create is very key. There are people who fight, but they realize that it's not good to fight in front of the kids. Indeed, couples can have a fight, and police can come in or whatever, welfare, they can come in and, the woman will say, he has not done anything to me. The man will say, it was nothing, we're playing. They'll read the environment, and they'll still take their children away because they don't want to expose them to it, because they are building another generation. What the Bible talks in Exodus 20, the one that the pastor, the guy used a lot, which another, we're not going there now, but third and fourth generation, they have to break the curse. It's the behaviors that we don't check. We don't break this. You have to break the cycle. So in many ways, you have to force yourself to become a first generation. So I'm trying to create myself. I may not succeed in everything, but I want to be a first generation guy whose son will say, I never saw my dad take alcohol.
True. So for you, which one is more important? Is it the nature, which is then genetics, biology coming into play, your child taking after you, or then the nurture, which then the cues, the social cues the child picks, is he or she is able to be released from?
I always feel that one is not really a major issue, because when you talk about the nature, you're doing the genetics. If you talk about the nurture, you're doing the phenotypics, because the genetic is just inbuilt in you, right? It comes with the genes and all that, And then the phenotypic, the nurture, is based on how you are managed and all that, So that for me is the prior, because you see, sometimes when a child is born, you can't tell.
True.
You can't tell. When I told you about CNN who did this thing, some years ago, a beautiful documentary. It's called Born Bad. And of course, to the extension of what you're saying is where they say that, so is it the character that determines destiny, or destiny that determines your character and all that?
Tabula rasa.
Okay, that's a high one.
So in psychology, they call it tabula rasa. Then in Christianity, there's the whole Calvinism, Arminianism debate, right? Where then the Calvinists then say that, God elects. Right? So no matter what you do, your destiny is set forth for you. Yes. I think the Arminianism are of a different view, where they say, well, God elects, but
exactly.
So it's an interesting debate.
Yeah, because you see, you live in a society, right? Okay, so let me show you. One thing can happen to somebody, and even in court, they'll give different judgments, or something will happen here, something will happen there, but the court will rule differently. Let me elucidate. See, when you're in a community, and that is why the nurturing is for me priority, because you see, if you do the nurturing right, it will help to manage the nature, because you look at things you can do to lower the effect. It's almost like treating a medication, right? Okay, so if you're diabetic, you want to now look at, if you don't know that the person is diabetic, it's going all the way, but once that is discovered, now you find ways of managing it. If a child is diabetic, whatever you say, the child cannot, break it down well at 5 or 7 years. But you know that this is how I'm going to feed him, this is how I'm going to feed her, and all that. So those things, you can't really fight them out, but you can manage them because of the training. So there's the thing. When you instill structures in the child, that the idea of teaching a child well and to behave at home, and why you get them into school is because they have to fit into the society. All those things should be there. Whether you are genetically wired right or wired wrong, you got to learn those structures because there are rules and regulations. I mean, like you can't say my genetics has come. So Sunday afternoon, I'm hitting 240, you know, on the highway. No. That they just dedicated commissioned a new flyover. So I'm going to, you know, you got to have, I mean, even the car has brakes, you know, so those structures are in place. You have to respect them, and they must be put there. It's very important. That's why it's good to reinforce them, because you see, it's talking about loving your child and protecting your child, because some of the behaviors, if you don't nurture them, others, there are crazy guys out there as well who will not give you a second chance.
True.
You can't just vent your anger anywhere. You can insult guys in traffic every day and get away with it. Give them the highest insults. One person, just an attempt at insult, he decides you have insulted them in advance. They will give you a new version of the Bible to read. So it's important that we have those controls, because it saves our lives. You know, because liberty without restriction is meaningless. You get it? Yeah. And what do they say? That your rights end where mine begins.
Once someone else's begins.
Exactly. So it's important that we have those structures and those disciplines in place just for our own well-being, because you can't, you know, look, a friend called me yesterday. She late yesterday from the US. Her mama just, you know, I think they lost their mom and they're preparing. I got a message that one of the uncles who I know just passed. He was killed by someone on a bike. He just stepped out of his ride and he just got knocked down, dead on the floor. So, and you remember I was talking about green is not enough reason to go. Was it last week or so? I said green is not enough reason to go.
Yeah.
You want to be sure that the red has really stopped. Because see, it gives you the green. It says you should go. So you are going, because there's a yellow guy there. So I think we have those structures are also important.
So the control structures.
The control structures are there and should be there for us. Then when the person reaches a certain age, they make their choices. That is why at 18 you can vote. At 17 and a half, you know, we voted on the 7th. Somebody will turn 18th on 8th.
Or 9th.
Or the 9th, yeah. But, you know, like,
But the rules are clear. Not 18, so that you can't vote. 18. Wow.
And you know, you are not 18. I mean, that's it. And you know, almost two is
it's
not
the same as.
See, where are you? Oh, I've all the way.
You are not there.
You are not there. Almost two is not complete. Almost two.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Almost two.
Yeah.
Leave space is not complete because almost two is not there. You are not there. So that's how it is. So we must discipline and put in those structures. It's very, very important. Let our children have check on their tempers, because kids are now killing each other. Little kids are hurting each other.
We saw it in Kaswa when an 11-year-old and a 15-year-old.
And the mental state of people. First of all, we the parents cry, we have a problem here. We have a problem managing our mental state and all that. So we must teach our children well and let our girls also ask questions and have the freedom to share. One of the things why you don't overbeat children when they even go wrong and lie is because they can't always process the lie and the truth. You get it? See, because if I didn't pass here and I said I passed there, that's a lie. But at the same time too, every time the glass falls down and breaks, and I associate it with Caning, you know, since I'm a child and I'm properly formed and my survival instinct will also have to be there for me, I will say that I didn't break it. And I will look for somebody I can put it on who I know I can manage when you are gone. That's why kids can say this one did it or that one did it. So we need to have all these things in place and protect them, because, you know, truth helps. The truth that you don't talk about straight away is the one you don't need to rush. I mean, you don't have to go and call somebody. Hey, I remember when we were young, man, probably a lady, when women started driving in Ghana, a lady died somewhere around Legon somewhere. She was going to take a bath, and you know those times you don't have this one, but the one that clean. They called the one and told her that, and that's a friend who is standing by a friend.
Right.
So she was sharing what she had seen. The friend took the car. Just you know, no camera. I'm on a life.
He wants to see it live and colored. Wow.
She didn't reach there. Like so,
and whether or not it was even the case.
And you see, when she had to leave, she you know, like, she stops by a friend's place if the place can go with her. So then she revealed who had told her the story.
Right.
So it's not that I go and track them, know the call, no. So everybody in that's what it, and it happens. So I mean, like you teach children. For example, one of the things that I'm strong about at home, Charlie, you don't snitch. Oh, in my home, Charlie, no, you don't snitch. You don't tell on people. I don't like that. No, you don't do that. Well, what are you going to say? That Charlie, I'll tell him. That's how we do it. But you don't try and undermine people and all that. Man, I warned about those things.
Some say the modern slur to it is calling out, right?
Yes.
So calling out in the form of like trying to expose, sometimes in a positive way.
Yes.
So if you're in a team of people and somebody is deliberately, or sometimes not even deliberately, undermining the efforts of the team, you call out a person, say, maybe you need to do better. And that is what has now been, you know, modernized as snitching in a way.
No.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you say, when the person is undermining, you know, the interest of the team.
Yeah, but that is not, but that's different from snitching.
Okay, so maybe in the family setting, not okay, then maybe.
Okay, so like, sorry.
No. I just wanted to,
that's
the snitching bit.
Yeah, because you see, my kids are home, right? So they're grown, even if whatever. So something has happened here. See, did you do this? No. Okay, that's I asked you. I didn't ask you who did it. I didn't ask you. I watched this comedy thing on online. A guy asked the guy, who called school and that boy took the story to me a 50 very brief story. No, I didn't do it. Okay, okay. So who was it? You check. My point is that the way I do it is this: they have to tell you that you have to go and say it. So if you are not going to say it, I'm going to tell you that. Yeah. So in my place, I expected you. So it was not.
Stand out yourself and come out.
Yeah, you get that chance, and that's what I told my son to do in school. That if I report, you go around and say it, but tell the person that I will take a cane for you.
Right.
No, this is not an issue where we are standing about an issue that we have agreed on. You have spoiled something, they're asking. That's not protecting you. Even if they say we will not pay because we're in the class, fine, but admit it. So I won't take a beating for you. So I think that's different because integrity is key.
Reverend Amartey, I wanted clarity on this. So you said that children should sit and listen. What about parents? Should parents listen to their children as well?
Parents should sit longer. Parents should sit longer because you see, there are kids who have committed suicide. There are kids who have done, and there are girls whose virginity will have been preserved for maybe another week or another month or another year if mom or dad had given them attention for a week. So their parents should sit and listen longer, but we don't listen all. Look, I have my own embarrassing story, and I think CJ will be in school somewhere now. So one day, he's a big boy now, 12 or 13. He said, I was on this phone. I didn't want to have to. This phone calls. Then he came and said, I want to discuss something with me. I said, okay, talk, I'm listening. I didn't listen to the guy, but I was on my phone. I think I was talking to, some conversations are sweet. So I was having a chat. That's true. So then I realized that he was going. I said, come. Yeah, what is it? He said, oh, but you're on the phone. That's what he said. I said, yeah, you come, we'll talk. But I was still on the phone. Then he said, I want to tell you I've decided that. Now, I don't hear that often that I've decided. So I don't get that conversation. Mom gets 99% of all their conversations. So then I said, Charlie, I'll call you back. What is it? And that was when he told me that. Then he said, when I meet with my friends, I've been looking at how we play. But me, I've decided that whatever I would do, I don't want to drink. I don't want to smoke. I don't want to do the outing. So then, he was just telling me what. Is that not what I've been praying? I've been praying for these kids, but long before I saw their mother. So this is, and I was not even listening.
Yeah,
it's not somebody. It's my story. Absolutely. I mean, some of the things we share that not, eliminates us or whatever. It tells some of our failures. So some of them I share it. It's a failure because you learn something harder that way. And what was sweeter than that? That he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do that. He'll do his own crazy hairstyle. Like whatever it is, fine. I tried to get it off, it doesn't work. But I kept all the structures and he wouldn't do it. So I said, I wasn't even listening to it. And the conversation was nothing. I can't even recall what I was or who I was even talking to today. But it still rings with me what he said. He came, I've not told him anything. He said, I don't want to do this. I've seen my friend did this. I think I'm not going to do it. I asked him about the friend. He said, he's been doing this thing on the internet, and I think he said, I don't want trouble. If they can't, they say I'm his friend. Those are little things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes the temptation is. So parents must have some structures. A girl must also be afraid in a way of a mother. And I mean literally, I'm talking about fear. Vanilla fear. That one also protects them because fear is healthy. Yeah. Do you understand? Fear is healthy. It has its good sides. It has its negatives as well. But fear is healthy because you see me as I'm sitting here. If I'm here and I've seen some killer animals that are coming, in the name of Jesus, I will say, but I'm not walking there.
Yeah.
I'm looking for what is the easiest way to crack my way out of here. Because once I get the place, I'm taking her out. The rest of you, God will bring you. I'll take her and leave all of you because she's a lady. And anybody here will do the same. Right. So I think we have to look at structures and make sure that they are safer and it is well with them. And let's remember one thing, we don't have life forever.
True.
People can lose their life because of little things we didn't teach them. Look, it's sad when I talked to Dr. Adams, I ran into her today because I told her about my boy who is not well. He's not sick, but he had an accident. And Charlie, I told her when I'm going to Kolebu, then it's as if I'm going to spiritual warfare. I can't take the pain. I can't see. I'm like, it's injury or nothing. Injuries. It's not like something happened. Injury. Car accident injury, this, that. I'm like, what? Yeah. So we need to listen to and have structures. Parents must listen. We don't listen. We are not even listening to ourselves anymore. This is the 85% course, maybe 90%. These ones. These phones. We are listening to everything but our children. Look, we don't doing this one now, but one of the things that is crazy, people are called for interviews. And when they walk in maybe with their file, when they put their file down, then they put their phone on it, waiting for it. Are you serious? Okay, you get the shortest, you are gone. You come to my interview, your phone is there. It's like a habit. You live it. When your boss calls you, you leave your phone with a reliable person and you walk. If you don't have a notepad, just walk with your head. If you need to write something, you give you a sleep. So, can I get my phone? Yes. There are things you got to listen. I watch people sometimes, and a friend has an interview Wednesday. She called me and said we should pray. I said, I'll pray today. And then, I'll pray with you on Wednesday dawn. But I need to talk to you on Monday and Tuesday. And one of them is about the phone. When it's time, when you are going to the interview, find a reliable person, leave everything there. Because it's a message you are telling them. One of the issues, parents must listen. We are not listening to our kids. Right. Our househelps are listening to our kids more than we are.
Everybody else is listening to our kids. For our parents.
Our kids have friends, they have things. And that statement, okay, blood is thicker than water. That's not a statement,
Oh God. So this is the
statement.
Yeah.
That because Tyson, that's not the statement. Yeah. We say blood is thicker than water, and we take it to mean that no matter what, that's my blood brother. No, that's not true. Yeah. We see brothers buy tickets for friends and leave their brother. It doesn't mean that. Yeah. What acting actually is saying is it's a longer thing, but laziness. The thing is actually saying that the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. That's what it is. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. You grew up. Do you have siblings? Do you have sisters or something?
I have a brother.
A brother. Are you only two?
It's a long story.
It's a long story. Okay, but you have two. Okay, that's cool. Look, a lady or a guy building friendships can be so close that siblings hate the friend. Are you getting me? Like you can have friends you grow with, you live with, you develop with. And at a point, your own siblings will not like that friend of yours.
I want us to keep the suspense of the blood of the covenant being thicker than the water of the womb.
It's key now.
We'll keep this suspense and build it up for next week.
That's right.
2 weeks. Okay, elections. Oh God. But that's fine. And maybe we'll also have a conversation on values. Right, because I think it's important that we do that.
Yeah, the values.
I know if I leave right now, we'll go on another, so we'll do that in 2 weeks' time. I think it's very important.
Right.
Time is far gone and we'll have to end it here. But I'm so grateful for your insights as always. You know, last week, no, 2 weeks ago, you told us that cleanliness is not next to godliness.
No, it's godliness.
It's godliness.
That's
You know,
my
I have a
my
notebook
idea.
where I write some of these
it's
things.
godliness.
And now you've also said to us
Yes.
that the blood, it's not necessarily blood being thicker than water, right?
Yeah, the blood of the covenant, the blood of the friendship you have developed with the friend over the years is thicker than your own sibling. Yeah.
Wow. Would help you delve into it next week or 2 weeks, in 2 weeks
Right.
time for us. But thank you so much for your time,
great.
as always. It's
Thanks for having
always a
us.
pleasure to have you.
Are we voting?
Yes, we'll vote.
Okay.
I think it's important we vote. It's a civic responsibility.
Yeah, so we'll wait for the results.
Yeah.
And all the conflicting prophecies
Yeah.
and the funny driven daters, they will all find their sweetness level by the time we wake up on Monday morning.
Interesting. Wow. So like I was saying, there's always a fun time having Reverend inside, especially for the profound, you know, one-liners. Very powerful. But I'll take a quick break now. When we are back, we'll have some sports. Don't go away.